Hi, Jimmy Reed, and on this session of Making Money in Real Estate, we've decided for the next 5 or 6 sessions we're going to take emails and questions from some of my students, some of the people actually working on what I call Team Read. So what I'm going to do is be getting these little sticky notes every month on the top 5 scenarios that people are wanting questions answered to. So let's go with today. I've made some little notes here. So the first one is, and basically this will be the title of this, is how to make money flipping and wholesaling houses with no money down, no credit, no cash. Well, that's pretty simple. What we're going to do there is to make money in real estate with no money, we're going to focus on one technique called wholesaling. Now, before we get into this, let me give you a quick definition. Wholesaling and flipping mean the same thing to me as a real estate investor. But out in the marketplace, you got to understand, a lot of these TV shows call flipping this. You find the property, you close and hold that property for a period of time, then you're doing the rehab to it, fixing it up, and then you sell that property, and they call that flipping. Well, to me, that's buy, fix, retail. What we're going to talk about, find it, flip it, get funded, it's done that quick. If we find it and it's burned, we're going to sell it burned. Our goal is to sell to investors who have cash. That's how you turn a property without any of your own cash, credit, or anything like that sort of getting a loan stuff. Now, the key to number one on this one, I'm going to say, is finding the deal. You got to find a great deal. And just going through the realtors or the MLS is not going to get you the best deal for sure. In fact, what you'll find out is most realtors these days are getting most of their good inventory from banks, and banks are not motivated. Get me this, okay? They're not motivated and haven't been for a while. So what we want to do is do some marketing. Marketing that brings in a deal that's not bank owned, but has a seller who is highly motivated. That's the first key, a motivated seller. Now, some of our marketing we're going to look at is running ads, putting magnetic signs on your vehicle, putting up signs out in the neighborhood that say, "We buy houses, fast cash." That's the kind of marketing we're talking about. When we do our trainings, live trainings, we spend hours and hours on this. But basically, that's the concept. Let's get some marketing out there so the motivated sellers can find you, and then that way you can talk to them and find out if they're truly motivated and if they've actually got a property or a deal that we can do. Now, 2, once you find that property, and I'm keeping this to 5 short little steps because when I teach this, it's an all-day deal. So 2, quick deal, put it under contract. And the first thing you're thinking is, well, gee, I don't have a contract. All I tell all my students is don't get fancy, don't get crazy. Just get your standard Board of Realtor contract. You can even get a regular contract from like an office supply store, but the basic standard state approved that your realtors use, I like it. It's familiar to everybody. Everyone's seen it. Your title companies, probably your sellers, most of your buyers will have seen this contract, and I like to keep with the standards. It's what we put in that contract that's going to protect you and give you a way to get out if it doesn't work. So put it under contract. By the way, if you're in Texas, you can get that contract right off the board's website, okay, the TREC contract. Now, another thing is location. We're going to be buying these properties as is. The better the location, the faster you'll be able to flip it, okay? Turn it quick. Again, we can go into bad neighborhoods. There are investors who buy in bad neighborhoods. It's just, I think you spend more time. It's harder to find good investors or any, real serious investors in that area that have stayed there for years and know how to work it. But there's inventory, so it's a good place to start, a good place to practice, actually. So we're going to go in and hopefully look at what I call 3 levels. We got the low income, working, and middle. I prefer the working, the one right in the middle is where you find the best deals. You've got a lot of investors who want them, and it's not so hard. It's like looking into a middle income neighborhood to look for properties. But low income, you can definitely find plenty. In my training classes, we hit all 3 when we do our bus trip because I want them to see all 3 and show how you can work your way up. Now, once we've got it under contract and we've cut the deal, and we'll have some other sessions on how to cut the contract and get it under tied up and ready to go. But basically, Now that you have it, we've got to flip it. We've got to find someone who has what I call cash, and cash is king, and don't forget it. So we got to start marketing the property. Same thing we're going to do that we did earlier, which was trying to market newspapers to find people to sell to us. Now we're going to find people who will buy from us. There are sections in your newspaper that are even known as the buy, sell, lease, or we buy houses, or homes want it. You're going to call all those investors, find out what it is they're looking for. Are they cash buyers, and are they looking for a deal where you've just got one? Also, I want you to go to your real estate clubs. I run the real estate club in Fort Worth. It's a great networking area. In fact, networking is a signal that I use. I use a lot of hand signals when I teach live, and this is a signal my students know, which is that's networking, and you've got to network to get paid. A lot of these clubs have deal tables. They let you present deals live. That's what you want to do the second you get under contract. And then lastly, start using the internet. When I do my training now, I spend about an hour and a half just on internet marketing because it is huge, but you got to be in the right areas doing the right things. And then lastly, once you find your buyer, you just have to quick turn the deal. We're either going to use an assignment technique or what I call a double close technique. An assignment, you're basically going to sell your contract, and a double close, you're actually going to take title for just a small period of time. And that's how we will exit out. But we'll talk about that on our next training tip coming up. Appreciate it, and take care.